Hey, so my Axial Capra 1.9 Unlimited Trail Buggy Kit has finally arrived. I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together as I wait for some of the other electronics and components to arrive as well. Now, here's all the parts that it comes with. It comes all in pieces. You have to put this whole thing in together by yourself. And I love that because you get to know the ins and outs of this RC car completely by the time you're done. And if anything should go wrong or if something should break in the future, you'll have a very good idea of what has gone wrong and how to fix it, since you were the one who put it together in the first place. A lot of the parts are made out of metal, which is very good. This is a very high quality RC car. And it also comes with this manual, which tells you how to put together everything, as well as the parts list, just in case you need to order more parts for it in the future. So we're going to start off by first putting together the front ring gear locker assembly. It's basically the front axle of the car, along with the gears. This first bag also includes the black grease as well as the thread locker compound that you'll be using throughout the rest of this build process. Also, if you don't already have one and you're building this yourself, please get yourself a nice container, maybe even 2 containers, to put all these small parts into, because they will roll off the table and you will end up losing them. I just grabbed a simple plastic dish or plastic plate, and I'm going to be using that to hold all my small pieces and small parts. Also, I try to organize all these small pieces and parts into groups as much as I can. It gives me a great idea of what I have in hand and how many of each of these things I have, and it keeps it very organized and it makes it easier to follow the manual. Now in this step, they ask you to apply some of the thread locking compound onto the screws. Usually whenever you're going to put a bolt or a screw into another metal, you want to apply a compound like this, but just follow the instructions. It'll tell you exactly when and how you should apply the compound. By the way, if you guys are interested in any of the tools I use, including this set of screwdriver set and bit set, it's going to be linked in the description of this video. So please follow along there if you want to get the same ones I'm using. Now, if you're putting this piece together, you want to use the star pattern when you're doing it. Start off by simply putting in the screws loosely first, and then using the star pattern, tighten them tighter until they're all fully tightened. If you don't use the star pattern, you'll basically have an unbalanced piece, and it'll be shaking and vibrating as it turns. So we're down to the last screw. So here are the 2 bearings that we're going to put on both sides of this piece. This first part here, you can see that I'm putting a little bit of a fight into it because it didn't want to slide in very easily, but be careful, take your time, and it will eventually get in there. The second one slides in pretty easily, no problems there. Now always be gentle with when you're building a kit like this. You might end up breaking it if you're not gentle with all the pieces. Here's the front axle. We're going to go ahead and put the gearing into it now. Now when installing bearings into plastic pieces like this, always make sure you've pushed them all the way as far back as they go. So we're going to go ahead and open up our black grease bottle and cut the tip off of it. Make sure you don't lose that cap. You're going to be using this black grease over and over throughout this build series. As you're pushing these two plastic pieces together, it may be a little bit hard to push it in all the way, but be persistent and push really hard. You'll eventually hear it click into place. Give it a spin to make sure it's spinning freely and it's not getting locked up. I'm going to go ahead and change the bit from a 1.5 to a 2. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and put all of these screws into place. As you can see, my hands are already getting tired, and I'll eventually switch over to an electric screwdriver instead. Now once you've tightened these screws down, you want to make sure that they're not too tight. And the way you know that is by spinning the gears inside, and if they feel tight and they seem to be locking up, you want to loosen those screws a little bit until it starts to spin freely again. Now thanks for watching. This was the first of many videos to come as I built this really awesome RC crawler. Until next time, please subscribe to not miss any of the future videos that I'm going to release, and give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful or otherwise entertaining.